Hi, do I have an exciting dish for you today? I was on the phone with a cousin of mine in New York earlier this week, and she said, John, do you know how to make chicken cordon bleu? And I said, yeah, Janine, I know how to make chicken cordon bleu. And she goes, I've been watching your show and I think that a lot of your recipes are great. And could you possibly try and make it? Because instead of just telling me over the phone, it might be great to see you do it. And I said, say no more, Janine, I got it for you. So today on the Chubby Hubby, we are going to make chicken cordon bleu. It's a wonderful recipe. It's something that I absolutely adore and my family eats every 6 months. Regularly. And today on the Chubby Hubby, we're gonna make it for you. So stay tuned. Okay, so I've taken the opportunity to roll out a few chickens, and as you can see, there really are, I would say one would feed one person, depending on the size of your family or your needs, but generally I would say one would feed one person. I've taken the opportunity, as I said, to roll out several in advance, but I did want to demonstrate to you exactly how to do this. Now, once you get your cellophane, you know, I gotta tell you, cellophane is God's revenge on people with ADHD. The corners curl, nothing lays flat, and it just gets on my nerves. But once you get your cellophane down, you want to beat the hell out of it. Beat the hell out of the cellophane. No, seriously, what you're going to do is work in small, natural circles as not to poke any holes in the meat. This I'm going to show you in advance. This is pretty much how thin it should be. As you can see, that's a really nice, manageable thinness. This chicken is boneless, skinless breast, and they've been thin sliced cutlets, but we want them thinner than the cutlet that you buy at the store because we're gonna roll them and not just fry them like a chicken cutlet. So we're gonna start by pounding. You wanna take out aggression, but you don't want to abuse the meat. Okay, as you can see, with a little pounding and a little bit of work, and other than a little spot, but we're going to layer this meat, so it's going to be okay. We have our piece of meat laid out. This is actually going to work nice based on the size of this one. Now what we're going to do now is take the meat, lay it over each other. I like to cut the straggler pieces off. I put the meat one side down, the next one on top. So when you roll, the catch edge is there. It just, for me, it makes it a little simpler. Now we're going to take our ham. This is just deli ham, to be honest with you, and I think that's okay for this. And I did a nice thick slice of Swiss. It's a little bit more difficult to work with, but trust me, with all that ooey gooey cheese, you're gonna love it that way, okay? So when you lay out your cheese, don't overlap it, and do the best you can so that at the end you're gonna have a tag. If you can kind of get in there, can you see that? Just get in there and have a nice tag on the end to finish rolling it out. And what we're going to do now is just simply roll and tuck, roll and tuck until we have, this is the outside edge. See how some of this is just thin? We're just gonna get rid of that because quite frankly, this is a good sized piece of chicken, really. And I've pre-cut some twine. Do not use polyester twine. Use good, true organic twine. This will bleed on your food and you don't want that. So get the twine underneath. going to tie those nice and snug, not too snug, because once they cook up, you're going to want to cut those, and it's really a bear to have to find. So what I do, I'll show you here in just a second, finish tying this off. I cut them just, I like to call these flags, because what's going to happen is once they cook, this green is going to just, in all the simmery goodness, is going to turn brown. You're not going to have a hard time finding it. And these are little flags that tell you where it's at. And then look at, how beautiful is this? This is a perfect, nice 4 chickens done. Chicken cordon bleu. Now we're going to mix up the, oh, I wanted to show you one tip. If I could show you one tip. When I work on my cutting board on my counter, the cutting board, we all go through this, but the cutting board wants to slide and move. What I do, just kind of a peek behind the curtain, is I take regular counter cushion, what do you call this? Counter covers, cabinet covers. And I put one down and my board never goes anywhere. Just kind of a nice trick for you. So what we're gonna do now, excuse me, is we're gonna bread them. And I have 3 bowls. And the platter that's gonna go in the oven. Preset your oven, 325, it's gonna be for 30 minutes. 325 baking for 30 minutes. Covered. The last 10 minutes, we're gonna uncover it. That way it cooks all nice and through, and the last 10 minutes, it makes it nice and golden, bubbly, and you'll like that. So what we're gonna do is, first thing is we're going to put eggs in one container. These are jumbo eggs. As you can see, they have 2 yolks each. What a pleasant surprise that is to find 2 yolks in an egg. And I need a fork. Sorry. And a little bit of salt. Mind my fingers. I'm cooking in my own house, so my fingers are okay. And we're going to mix this up. And then we're going to add some spices. The spices here today are going to be salt, pepper, paprika, onion powder, and garlic powder. The paprika, in the other dish. The paprika is going to give you a woodsy flavor. So if you don't like it woodsy, go easy or don't put it at all. In this recipe, I put the paprika, or as I call it, the paprika. Fresh parsley. You know, whenever you can, always buy the fresh. It's just, and then this here we have thyme and sage. As you can see, look at how lovely this is, because this is fresh cut. As you can see, I mean, it's just nice and fresh. When the heat hits that, it will release all of its oils. It'll be delicious. I keep all my spices in weck jars. The weck jar, the weck company, is wonderful. They've got all sizes, all shapes. I do all my canning in weck. I do a lot of storage, pantry storage in my weck jars. As you can see, I use this one for my homemade breadcrumbs. It really does, they're nice. They're really nice. And they give you a nod to the old days before canning was the ball jar system. So you put a little bit of water in here and the fresh herb, and they keep twice as long. So it really is, you're saving on the herbs, but you're also keeping them fresh at the same time. So I like to keep my herbs in weck jars. Before we go to the next step, I wanted to cut up a shallot to put in with that. So we're going to cut this real quick. Okay, we added, I got onion eye. We added the shallot into the container, which now we're going to add breadcrumbs. These are homemade breadcrumbs. When I have a little bit of leftover bread, that just the heel, just a couple pieces towards the end, and I know that I'm not gonna have it, what I do is I store it in a paper bag in the pantry. And when it dries out, I grind it down in my food processor, and I get delicious homemade breadcrumbs. You cannot beat this over store-bought. When I am in a pinch and I need breadcrumbs and I go back to the store-bought, I can almost taste the preservatives. This is the breadcrumbs to use. So we're gonna put just a nice little amount in there, because really now what we're doing is just shake and baking our chicken. But we're gonna do kind of like what is a double. We're gonna double dip it. As you can see, look how hearty that is. That's not just, it's just got so many nice, good bite little pieces in there. It's gonna be nice. And then in our third container, we're going to put flour. So this is how we do it. Line these up in this order. And we take our baking dish, which I sprayed a non-stick spray, you know, a Pam or a baking spray. We're gonna take our chicken and we're gonna dip it in flour. Some people say it's the reverse order, but we're gonna dip this in flour. Then we're gonna put it in egg. This is not for the clean-handed. You really get messy with this. It's just how it is, but you make do. See how all those little bits are all sticking to it? How lovely is that? That is an excellent hearty, I keep wanting to call them city chickens. Now my people back east are all gonna know city chicken, but the Cordon Bleus. Again, with the flour, I like to do, you give it a little shake and it recenters. Chicken Cordon Bleu into the flour. I think we're just gonna speed past all this. Okay, they're done. As you can see, big mess, big mess. Wipe my hands and get rid of all that mess. We're gonna take these over to the stove. Actually, we're gonna check out for just a second and we'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. Sorry about that, unforeseen problems. The phone died, we had to start again. Okay, so everything gave me a chance to clean up and wash my hands. Everything has been wrapped. We're gonna come over to the stove and we're gonna put a quick fry on these before we put them into the oven. That should lock in a lot of the flavor. Whenever I put a little tab of butter, I always also like to, whenever I put oil, like to put a little tab of butter. The butter then doesn't brown up so bad. The butter doesn't brown up so bad. Oh, this is nice. This is nice, okay. And we are going to put a quick sear on these before they go into the oven. And I'm gonna get a lid. Okay, and now as you can see, the chicken You know, at this point, they're not even chickens. They are Cordon Bleus, are perfectly done. They look so golden, yummy. Don't kid yourself. They're raw in the center, but they have a beautiful sear on them. I mean, look at this one. Is that not just to die for? Who is going to eat good tonight? I can tell you. My husband is going to have a feast every night. You've outdone yourself. You've outdone yourself every night. So he really enjoys this. So it's wonderful to cook knowing that it doesn't fall on deaf ears. It doesn't fall on deaf taste buds. And we're going to, I need a piece of cellophane. And we're just going to cover this with a cellophane. And like I said, it's going to go into the oven. It's all in the description, or it's all on the Chubby Hubby Cook, chubbyhubbycook.com website, where you'll find all of my recipes. You also find it in YouTube. YouTube will point you to the chubbyhubbycook.com. A lot of great stuff on there. Okay, we're going to cover this, and into the oven it goes for 30 minutes. In 20 minutes, I'm going to uncover it and then take it and let it just get nice and crispy, goldy, bubbly. You know what I mean? Bubbly and kind of golden delicious on top in the oven. I might just broil it for a minute just so that it gets nice and, well, anyway, so we will be right back in 20 minutes. Okay, it's been 30 minutes and our chicken cordon bleu at this point is done. So if you want to come around, we're going to take that out. Actually, you don't even have to come around. I'm going to take it out and put it here on the counter. Oh, they look so good. Look at this. They're so golden and they're just oozing the cheese, and you can hear them just sizzling. As you can see, the green ties are gone. So that's why we put those flags to find them. Because I made it, but a little bit, you can kind of see them. So we'll have no problem finding them. I'm gonna cover it with a tin foil and let it set for 10 to 15 minutes. You should never eat anything right out of the oven. Number one, you'll burn your whole mouth. You won't be able to talk. You won't be able to sing on Sunday. So you don't want that. Be sitting here and coming back down into a nice regular temperature. So right now, we're gonna start the sauce. So why don't you come over? Now this is a really nice cream sauce. We're gonna start by adding some flour or some butter and get that nice and melted. Gonna turn down to a medium high. Get this butter going nice and we're gonna put the spices in on the butter. Just a pinch of salt, kind of heavy on the pinch. But when I say a pinch of salt, do what your family likes. If no salt at all because you have salt issues, sodium issues, then none. I know my father, he can't do salt at all. So he adds extra pepper in order to achieve that olfactory, that sense of flavor. He just uses a lot of pepper and it works for him. So whatever works for you. So we're gonna continue to just get that butter nice and mixed in and incorporated. Gonna add a little bit of garlic powder. This much. What is that? It's a pinch. By the way, you like my labels for my spices? I do all my own on my Cricut machine. Yes, that's right, I also DIY. Give that a quick stir. This sauce should take you 5 minutes. Quick, it's real quick. Gonna add the flour, and it's gonna paste. It's gonna paste up at this point. As you can see, it's really thick, really thick. And that's okay. And I'm gonna add the cream. and we're gonna stir. Now you have to stir rapidly or consistently and just keep it going. Because it's butter and cream, we have to be careful when we add the limoncello. Because we don't want it to curdle, so I'm gonna turn it to a lower temperature. There's nothing to cook here. You just need to give the flour time to do its gig and thicken up. And I can tell it's thickening already. And now I want to add, excuse me, add a little bit. As you can see, it is so nice and it's thickening. Add the rest. We needed to water that down a tad, and I'm turning off the heat at this point. You can smell the lemon. We're trying to burn off the alcohol. Let's give it a taste. I mean, look how thick it is on the spoon. See how it barely has a drip? That's what you want. A complete and utter triumph, really. Okay, we're gonna take this to the stove. Take this to the counter. We're gonna pour it into a gravy boat to pour over our chicken Cordon Bleus, but because I am dying to taste it with you, I'm gonna put a little bit right here in this little dish that I pulled to the side. And has it been 10 minutes? It's been 5.5 minutes. I think we can cheat. Usually a good rule of thumb, the pan is still a little warm. I think it's gonna be okay to cut. I know it's gonna steam, but we're gonna go with that. I mean, between friends, we're just gonna cut 5 minutes. And we're all friends, right? Right? Okay, so I can see my cuts. This. Is that not beautiful? You know, it's perfectly done. It reached 165 degrees. It cuts wonderfully. Smells like heaven. It smells so good. And in this sauce that is thickened up beautifully, it's gonna be too hot to taste. And it smells wonderful. I'm gonna just If you haven't had chicken Cordon Bleu in a while, and you make this recipe, you're gonna say, now that's what I remember. This is so good. This is so magnificent. I love this. It reminds me, I haven't even sat down to eat, and it reminds me I need to make this more often. It was really, really good. I usually don't do this, but oh, Sorry. I love it. I know you're going to love it. What I would love for you to do is to go to my website at thechubbyhubbycook.com. Go to the recipe section. You'll be able to download this recipe, as well as check out my Instagram and Facebook. Facebook is the Chubby Hubby, and Instagram is the Chubby Hubby Cook, where you'll find hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things that I've cooked and posted and commented. And I would like for you to post, comment, copy, subscribe to the YouTube site, and ring the bell. That way you know the next time I get a video, and you know then it can be passed on to others. Until then, hi Janine. I hope you like the recipe. I love you. And until then, remember, it's not just food. It's love made edible. Bye-bye.